Now we've got one more thing left, and it's implementing the jump. And for that, we're going to be touching the Unity UI, the new UI that was first introduced in 4.6. They got a few updates in 5.0. This lesson won't even really be an overview of the UI. It'll just kind of show you what it is if you've never used it before, or if you've used NGUI, and so we can get our character to jump. So to create a new UI, you need to create a canvas. In GameObject UI, canvas. The canvas creates another file, GameObject, called an event system, which can pick up several events related to the UI, such as mouse clicks, mouse being over objects, etc., a bunch of combinations. And the canvas, which is going to be your screen. If I resize the screen, you'll see that it also resizes the canvas. So we want to add a button here, and what we do is have our canvas selected, then GameObject UI button, and we see a button immediately appear right here in the middle. In order to get a proper view, we want to right-click on this view describer and go into back. Make sure that we've got this selected, this rectangle transform tool. You could also move it via the regular good old transform tool, but it's just, this is just neater. Okay, and see, we can just move it pretty much around the screen and it'll fit. One thing that you also have to do is use these things called anchors. Anchors are a way to assign things to a different part of the screen. Personally, I'm going to assign this to the bottom left. I'm going to scale this down a little bit, okay, and like that's good. We'll see that the label of the text is just below. I'm going to change it from button to jump. Now we're going to go to our canvas, and in the canvas scaler, what I want to do is scale with the screen size. It's going to give us a reference to the screen size, and it'll scale up or scale down. And I'm just going to do this to the regular iPhone 5 size. And so I'm going to scale up the button like so, and the text as well. Okay, jump. All right, move it a little bit. Nope, not the text. Move the button a little further from the screen. Okay, so now if I press just Command P. Okay, so we got this button. I can press it. The button is definitely pressable. We see some oddities here that if we do click on the button, our hero is actually being clicked on the terrain as well. Now, like I said, in Unity 5, there is a system, the event system, which allows you to use also something called the physics raycaster in the camera. But for this one, we're keeping it really simple and not really diving into the Unity UI. So we'll do it a very hacky way. So in the button, go ahead and click on Add Component and type in Event Trigger. On the Add New Event Type, type in Pointer Enter, create a new one, Pointer Exit. Now we're going to go into our destination mover script and create a boolean, and this boolean will tell us whether the mouse is over the button. Like I said, this is like super hacky, but it'll work for the ad hoc scenario. Boolean, and I'm going to be calling this button is over, and now we need to create a new function up here. It needs to be a public function, and this function is going to either switch the button is over on or off. And button toggle, button toggle, and define a state, bool state, and all of this is going to do is simply toggle this boolean. All right, so the reason that we're doing this is that we'll only want this raycast to happen if if our mouse is not over the button. So for this, we can simply put a if statement up here. If button is over, but we need it to be if button is not over, indent this. Okay. Now we need to go into this event trigger, and we need to specify this function. Okay, create plus up here. Now drag in village man into both of these, and now what we can do is define what we want to happen during this event, whether the pointer enters or the pointer exits. So I want a destination mover in button toggle, and button toggle, once it enters, I want it to be true. For the destination mover, when the button exits, button toggle again, but keep it false. Okay, so let's, okay, thanks. Let's try it again. Great, so we're pressing the button, but our hero is no longer jumping to that spot in the terrain. That pretty much says it all. Of course, this is not implementing the jump trigger, and you'll just see how simple it can be. Drag in the guy. No function. We're going to be typing in animator. This is outside the screen, so you're just going to have to look it up yourself. Set trigger, and type in string. Make sure it's not set to int, and just type in jump. Okay. And one thing I'd like to do is maybe change the color of this button. Usually brown and blue go quite nicely together. And the text, let's make it white. Not that way, like so. Okay. And at this point, we've got a UI. Let's maximize it. We've got a set of animations. Our nav mesh is working, and let's test out the jump. And our hero will continue going even after the jump, and the jump will implement itself properly. Okay, now just aim for the door. Excellent. Okay, we made quite an entrance. By the way, this door is a rigid body. If you want to set up a bunch of other stuff yourself, by all means feel free. I actually had in a practice scene had all of these things be rigid bodies, so you can just completely destroy the house. But that's up to your discretion. Gentlemen, behold! The game is fully functional, the shaders are as well, and completely compilable on iOS. And by the way, with Unity 5.0, you're also able to compile to WebGL, which is also awesome. That means anybody can go and play your stuff on any browser, and they don't have to download any plugins. It is in preview mode, so some shaders may not look like they would on desktop or even mobile, but it is a game changer and really demonstrates the cross-compatibility of the Unity engine.